Sunset had fallen on the countryside, and the warmth of the day was fading with each passing moment. Vespers of an autumn breeze whispered through the fields, setting in the amber stalks of corn into a somber dance. Yet with each swaying step, two interlopers were revealed, standing stark and defiant against the motion of their surroundings. And seeing their still forms, one might almost believe that they never breathed nor blinked. Such was certainly the common belief, perhaps shared by even the figures themselves, which made it all the more surprising when one of them spoke. "My arms hurt, Frank." The second figure remained motionless, though a flicker of expression may have crossed his face. "Frank, my arms hurt." "Dang it, Jed!" With a shuffling of cloth and straw, Frank turned to face his partner. "When they sent you here, they said you was the best choice. You said you knew the rules. Now shut up before someone hears you." Silence returned to the field, broken only by the rustling of currents through the corn. Even a nearby stream, which burbled happily in the hours of daylight, seemed to have hushed itself in preparation for the dusk. This night was an important one, and its task was all but sacred. "Oh, who's gonna hear us, Frank?" "It's not the point. What matters is if someone did, we ain't supposed to talk." Jed considered this, though the contents of his head were hardly suited to higher reasoning. "Well, so what? It's a stupid job anyway. Ain't nobody passed yet that hasn't marked our yours." Frank sighed, removed his hat, and scratched at his leathery skin. "Look, Jed, that may be very well. Fact is, it don't matter one bit. It's got to be done. You understand me?" "No." "Good, you. What the hell you mean, no? Ain't no one ever told you the story?" The straw around Jed's neck made a rasping noise as he shook his head. "Folks keep saying I'll learn it when I have the need. I've been starting to think they don't know it themselves." "Oh, they know it all right." Frank cleared his throat, made a spitting motion at the ground, though his lips remained dry. "They know it sure as they know their own mamas. Just that, well, it ain't exactly pleasant talk." He sighed again, as much from the frustration of having to speak as from the thought of his next words. "See, there was a time, some many years ago, when these fields were beset by a plague. Not a plague of illness, mind. No, this plague came as a winged beast from the sky. Black as night they were, with voices like something from a nightmare." "Crows," whispered Jed. His eyes scanned what little of the horizon he could see beyond the cornfield. "I've heard tell of them. Figured they were children's tale." Frank shifted his weight, adjusting the rigid stick on where he rested his arms. "That they may be, but there's truth in the stories. Crows are real enough, even if one sacredly hears of them in any but legend these days. Back when their terror was at hand, they descend on these fields and eat their fill, leaving precious little for the folk who toiled with them seed. It brought a hardship on the land, leaving everyone desperate." "My arm still hurt, Frank." Frank rolled his eyes. "We're talking, ain't we? Have a rest. Hell, sit down, for all that matters now." "Thanks, Frank." Jed dropped from his post and crumpled to the ground, suddenly looked very much like a lifeless pile of rags. So what happened? Though he opened his mouth to speak, Frank hesitated. On any other night, the words were just a story. But on this night, they might be something more. "You keep a listen for anything amiss, all right?" Jed nodded, and Frank resumed his tale. "It was a dark time, to be sure. Dark enough that some reckoned they might employ a darkness of their own." He closed his eyes and recited the secret verse, known only to those who stood and watched in the field. "Gathered by the walls of green, left to dry by day, shaped into a sentinel in clothing was the hay, set upon tormented fields against demon's call, given life by darkness, the men of naught but straw, gave to them by the hollowed charge upon the darkest night, paid the price for vigilance when absence was the light. Gathered they one of the young, for empty demons' call, taken by the darkness, the men of naught but straw." "Straw men," whispered Jed. "Straw men, like us, Frank." Frank's head, Frank's expression grew colder as he shook his head. "Don't you be thinking that way. The straw men were something other than living, Jed. Scared the crows away, they did, but at a terrible cost. They were dead inside, you see. Stayed where they were meant to be, like statues, save for one night a year, when they come alive, have a reaping. Only it weren't corn they took away, but a child. One child left outside past sunset." "Children are outside past sunset all the time, Frank." "Not on this night," Frank hissed. He lowered his voice even further. "On this night, the children wear masks. The straw men can't see those who hide their eyes, not unless they look at the straw men first." Jed fell silent, chastity. The sky had darkened considerably, with only the most tenuous of rays from the dying light still piercing the walls of corn. Somewhere in the distance, a woman's voice called out for her son. "Hey, Frank." "What?" "I still don't get it, Frank." Frank sighed yet again. "What don't you get?" "Why we're out here. Why we gotta stand like this. Why folks laugh at us. I mean, we're straw men, right, Frank?" In response, Frank launched a kick at his companion's leg. "Ow! Why'd you go and do that for?" "If you was a straw man," Frank said, "do you reckon that would have hurt? You're flesh and blood, Jed, so how can you be a straw man?" "Well, I mean, it's pretend, ain't it? I fill my clothes with straw and play make-believe, right?" Frank tapped a gloved hand against the side of his hat. "Up here it might be pretend, but here—" He thumped his fist against his chest, making his stuffed shirt crackle. "It's all real, and that's what matters, Jed." He swung his arm wide, gesturing the fields around them. "You want to know why you're out here? It's so that fear don't come back. Even one child being taken keeps that terror festering. Keeps folk in mourning. Might as well have the crows back. But if someone goes to stand watch, then the straw men don't come walking. They can all rest easy. They can laugh at their fear and get on with their lives.
Now do you get it?
I get it, Frank, Jed hurriedly replied. I'm here to stand watch. I get it.
Good. Now get back on your post. We got a long night ahead.
Jed retook position, and Frank readjusted his own. The wind had died with the sunlight, leaving the cornfields completely still. Hey, Frank.
Shut up.
Sorry. Jed closed his mouth. Only, what happens to them, Frank? To the children?
What children?
You know, pushed Jed. The children that they take away. Frank turned to regard his companion. The poor boy was only hardly out of his youth, with only the barest tint of stubble on his chin. Even in the darkness, an earnest innocence twinkled in his eyes.
You sure you want to know, Jed?
Jed turned to me for